Don't blink as you blink. Welcome to the Culture Show. Because you more because I'm having a wonderful day. On this 21st June 25, I was supposed to go out to a very specific place, which was nice for landscape, right? And I saw the nature corn and outside my balcony, which is insane. It's beautiful. So I'm gonna do something new, which is sort of a challenge, which can be easy, and it's kind of checking out how much I can bullshit you guys until we get the event. Now, I know what you're asking. Ink, what is the event, right? Well, the event's actually pretty simple. Besides, I can go out tomorrow. Tomorrow. Love that word, tomorrow. Today is Saturday, by the way. So that's kind of cool. I'll get my answer for the job either tomorrow or the day before, the day after, the day before. We woke up about 20 minutes ago, 25 minutes ago, right? So if I look like shit, I can blame being tired. And if I look amazing, I say, oh, I woke up like this. So I don't know if you guys noticed, right? I'm telling the wrong side. There's a very small dot here, right? You see it? You see this dot here? Or you're seeing, I don't see it. Are you? Give me a sec, guys. We need to do this. Oh, you can basically see it here. Yeah. The sunshine, the moon here. Now, this event will be one for the ages. So I want you guys to focus on this dot, right? So now, what we have that is absolutely, and I do mean absolutely phenomenal, is that we have the moon. Right now it's 4:55 a.m. By the way. So right now what we have is the moon here and the sunshine here, right? Now, ultimately speaking, usually the moon will have 12 hours. Well, yeah, 12 hours to do a half of the Earth. Now, for some reason, tonight it didn't do it. So this is gonna be cool because we're gonna be able to see both the moon and the sun and one clear picture, which I fuck with. So I woke up. I'm supposed to go to a special place. We're gonna be the subject of this video, by the way. I was like, no, I have to stay here. If I get the view, it's all gonna be worth it, right? So now we have a challenge, and usually I don't like doing challenge, especially not the first time in the morning. But now I'm gonna do a challenge. And that challenge is gonna be how long I can bullshit you into getting. So in a perfect world, I'm going to the place I want to go today, except if it's too late, because late mean cars and car means go-ish. However, it's Saturday, so the usual casual traffic of the working man. The working man is the working man I am, and I'm digging underground. My quench, pink lemonade quench, delicioso. Um, Last time I went out and there was lights, or last time I went out and it was the normal hours, I got stopped by the police twice. Now, I don't want to happen again. I bullshit my way once. I don't know if I can bullshit my way twice, or three times, or four times, or fifth time. By the way, we're gonna be eating because we only ate my delicious and simple. So, 2 pieces of fried bread with sausage, breakfast sausage. Bon appetit. No, I know what you're saying. Ink. Can you just put the camera, bro? Get some sleep. I have to start waking up early for you. Wait. That's quite nice. I have to just. This is a temptation to sleep. Simple enough. Simple enough. There's a spot. Could be. See you tomorrow. So, I would prefer the cop rule, the golden rule with police or with anybody. We can fuck with a couple people, but not with everybody. Usually when there's a lot of traffic, or even with for example, the bus will check your tickets if you pay the tickets. But when it's rush hour, they won't, because they know that you're going to work. That's a good information. I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay for your tickets. No. I'm never gonna fine, but I thought people get fined. And it's not pretty. It's $100. It's $150 or a lot of cash for a $375 ticket. Huh? Avoid. It's a palm. So the police, they're gonna fuck with a lot of people because we're gonna get mad. Police. However, if you fuck with the police, you get arrested or you get stopped. People would just say, "You gotta stop me," you know. So the place that we're going, again, bullshitting you guys until this and disappear in the same sentence. This will take me 40 something minutes. Lately I've been filming a lot of nature corn. Consciously. And usually what I do is I leave the nature corn and I just go do something else, you know? You would be surprised the number of like a 5 minutes thing is insane. Only the difference, you know? Oh, that's me. I would make myself another. It's so fucking good. I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit before. So, the spot that I was supposed to go this morning is kind of talking about, well, on the, a long time ago, 2 weeks ago, I made a video about landscapes and saying, well, you know, if nature corn is not a thing, landscape would be a thing, right? Here we go. This is interesting. Here we go. This morning I was supposed to go out because there's not a single cloud, which means that you'll get the same sunrise as a month ago, as 2 months ago, as 3 months ago. It's gonna be the exact same sunrise, which doesn't matter because you're still grateful that the sun is shining and you still grateful that you're awake when the sun goes up, because that means that somehow you made another night, right? When I was depressed, I was 20 years old, 22 years old. Every single day, I used to be up at night. And gaming and going out for Wi-Fi, you know. And seeing the sunrise was the smallest joy in my life because it somehow meant that I was okay. My father used to work at 5:30. I would wake up at 5 to go and drive fast with him. Well, at home, but still, let's watch the sunrise together. Sunrise has always been something important in my life, so, you know, I'm grateful for this, no matter how boring this is. But then last week I was like, you know what? If I can't, it's something that's interesting to me, it can be a bit boring for you guys, right? Because all I have to do, if I was crazy, all I'd have to do is keep the footage, right? Keep the footage, film a month of sunrise, film a month of sunrise would be good. And then replay that shit. Change the date, right? Change the audio. That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. And you would get a month, you would get a year of sunrise for a couple of months, for a month, right? And then because I'm an asshole, I would give you every single year a month of new sunrise, but it still would be the same shit every single time, right? Could do that. However, I was like, no, don't do it. Even though the thought was very tempting, because then I'm going to be starting to work. If I start work, I start on Tuesday, and I start at 6:45, which is in about an hour 45. I like waking up a little bit before work. That way I get to do my shit. I get to film a couple of videos, which is nice. Yeah, because the worst thing, you guys think the worst thing is not having any concept for videos. You're right, but the worst thing isn't that. The worst thing is having your storage full. So you see something like this, a very special event, and you're like, holy shit, I gotta film it, right? And then even when you post, it takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes for a video, and then you switch to the next videos, and then you have a lot of space, so you do 2 videos, right? And then you're uploading your whole thing, but you realize that your day's done, So I decided to do some landscape, right? And landscape were nice because the first one we had was the Lachine Lighthouse. The second one we had was the Clock Tower of Lachine, or a very nice little dock. Not the duck, the animal, a duck, D-O-C-K, which is close to Dick, D-I-C-K. But if you think about Dick, when I say duck, you're a bit of a perv, right? Cool. And then today was the parking lot. So I know what you're saying, Ink. What the fuck are you doing in a parking lot? That's not a landscape. But then the landscape in itself is just how it makes you feel, right? You're gonna go to a store, a restaurant, right, called Chez Benoit. And Chez Benoit has, if they're lucky, they have 25, 30 customers a day, and 12 of them are the same people. They're the same people. They're coming day in, day out. Right? Every single week they go. So you can tell, well, Chez Benoit is not doing well financially, right? But it's still something. You still have memories there. So restaurant becomes a landscape, even though it's not a landscape, it becomes one because of the emotional feelings towards it. Do I have emotional feelings toward the Clock Tower of Lachine? No. But it's part of Lachine. Do I have emotional feeling thanks to the lighthouse? Yes. The lighthouse was a safe haven. I could come. I was such a gamer when I was younger. I would have my Game Boy Color, and I would pretend like I'm leaving. Oh my god! I told the story before. My father was like, "Hey, you're playing game too much." My mom, she was cool. She didn't care. She's like, "Hey, this is how you want to spend your day. Spend your day the way you want. Like as long as you're happy. I don't care." Which was fantastic. Give your children the choice. Give them the choice, and then don't choose. If they make a good choice, then it's a good kid. If they make a bad choice, then somehow along the way, they got corrupted by something, And it's up to you to fix it, right? And it's kind of like a trap. Like you tell your kid, hey, it's a beautiful day outside. You want to go out? You want to stay in and play games? The kid says, I want to stay in and play games. Okay, cool. So the next day, it's a beautiful day. And you tell your kid, hey, it's a beautiful day outside. You want to go out or want to stay playing games? You want to stay playing games. And then you have to realize that, is it a social thing? Is it because he likes playing games? Is it because he doesn't like going out? Is it because something happened when he went out? You have to correct that behavior. Like, for example, turn off the Wi-Fi. I'm like, I'm so sorry, the Wi-Fi is not working. I'm having a problem too. But it's a beautiful day out. You want to go out and get some ice cream or bribe the kid, fucking bribe the kid. Teach them how it's nice. My parents used to take me to Dairy Queen, which is about 20 minutes walk. Marche is French. And I was like, oh, I'm fucking down for ice cream, right? Again, little kid, I didn't have sugar. But I had to go out to walk, right? So, bribery. And it worked. It worked. I was happy to go out. But then when I started going out, I was expecting ice cream. That's not good. So, the lighthouse was also a place. I used to go out and hide in McDonald's playing the video games that they had in, And then I used to go to the lakeshore, have a hiding place and play Game Boy Color, right? That was crazy, that was cool, that was really cool. Back in the days I was only playing emulators, so you didn't need Wi-Fi. So I still had my phone, and I was like, okay, I would go out 3 hours. I was like, oh my god, what a nice day outside, And then something happened where it was raining, and I stayed out, and my father was like, what the fuck happened? You didn't see the rain? Where were you? I got in trouble. So why is the landscape? So the landscape today is a parking lot. So why is that important to me? Well, we're talking about emotional. We're talking about emotional like importance to you. Like emotional attachment is a better word for it. So this parking lot is a parking lot we filmed a lot at, which is crazy when you think about parking lot. It is Les Galeries d'Orval, which is a place that was super important to me. And I did a whole video about it, like a 40 minutes video. I could do another one because I need to get some time so we can have this event going on, but I'm not gonna. But shortly, very recap wise, the Galeries d'Orval had Wi-Fi. I didn't have Wi-Fi. I needed Wi-Fi. What I would do, I would go every single 2 days, except for the weekend. The weekend I would go because there was too many people, and I would download. I would come. Oh, this was crazy. I would come and I had my battery pack with me. I would come at 10 a.m. and I would leave at 5:30 p.m. because I didn't want to get the traffic. Yeah, it was insane. Or I would go to work and I would finish at 3:30, and I would go there and it was 4:15, right? And I would stay until it closed, which is 10 o'clock, which is insanity. And when you think about it, this is crazy, but I would do it because I kind of loved it, because I needed Wi-Fi. Also, it gave me social when I needed social. See, I was listening to radio a lot, which was a radio of opinion, right? But then there's time where I didn't. For example, one day, I heard that they talk about endings. I would go out and would have a social interaction, and social interaction was just being surrounded with people. You don't understand how healthy being depressed and being in a room full of people is. It's curing because you're like, I'm not alone in the world. My problem isn't the nostril of the universe. It isn't the being that is the most important in the universe. So I was like, okay, fuck it, right? So then I was serving that purpose too. And lastly, I had gained a lot of weight, and I was ashamed of myself. I did like the way I looked a lot. Also, I was getting a lot of tattoos, and I was like, okay, well, the premise of the tattoos, the concept of the tattoos was for people to see me. And when you're depressed, you become paranoid. So you go out and you think that people are actually looking at you and like, yo, this guy is depressed and there's something wrong with this guy. No, they don't give a fuck about you. But it's your perception, So it's like, well, I'm surrounded with people, but I'm still anonymous. Nobody knows who I am. And plus, this is only this town next to me. Not that far, Nobody knows who I am. That's kind of cool. And yeah, that was the shit. How did I know about this place? Well, I used to work at IGA, which was right next to it. In the IGA, they didn't have Wi-Fi, so I would come in earlier to to go to Walmart to get. This is kind of crazy. I was doing a. This is kind of crazy in a good way. This was 2010, 11, so they just had released the PS4, and they would sell used PS3 games or PS3 games for $10, old games. And I was like, holy shit, this is a deal. So what I would do is I would go out. When I had my depression, when I was 22 years old, I used to go to Walmart. This was a crazy story. All I did with my day is play video games. So this was and for some reason, this period of time, I used to play like small games. For example, one of those games was Attack on Titan. It took me a day to finish. Another one of those games was Batman Beyond, the Telltale, which you can only play one episode until you download the others. Like, what the fuck? I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I only played the first episode. It took me 2 hours. So I would go out and just buy a DVD and buy some junk food and then go back home. She would do at home. And this is the parking lot. And then the parking lot is representative of all of these, like Safe Haven. All of these things that I needed at a place. Imagine you have 4 needs, and this place is taking care of everything. You can have a strip club. That's also a social. You get some free food in the form of peanuts, and you get to see tits. If you were looking for tits, you can see tits. So this is like, holy shit, this is a safe haven, right? But then if you get recognized, you're like, oh, this guy's hanging around those places, right? And who's gonna give a shit if you're in a parking lot or in a shopping center, right? was nuts, bro. That was really nuts. And I had this. Oh my god, it was one of the worst stories of my life. I had this. This is a really big heartbreak. It's a really big heartbreak. Is it still there? Yes, it's still there. The big heartbreak was I was there for every single, well, not every single day, but 4 or 5 times a week for like a year. And I had this maid, well, not maid, but she was a janitor there. And she was always like asking for food because I was eating some good food, pistachio, she would take some. I would have some candy, she would take some. And then one day, I was like, I'm so sorry, I brought her lunch today. And she's like, I'm cleaning your table and I got nothing. I'm like, what the fuck, you know? It was nuts. It was odd. It was weird. And then that's not the worst thing. The worst thing was 2019. I was working at PCT, right? And the boys were talking about how Ink, you gained some weight. Steph, you're fat. They used to call me. They used to call me Porco Gras. Porco Gras is fat pig. Like, what the fuck? You know? But then they didn't say it in French. And first of all, they didn't say it in French. Second of all, they thought I didn't understand. So the goal was not to insult me. If they wanted to insult me, they would have talked to me in a way that they understand. This is something that you don't understand. And there's a person, right, insulting you. And they know that you speak French or you speak English and they speak in Spanish or Romanian, right? A lot of that part is that they're cowards. But there's also a bunch of people that are not trying to hurt you. And they have this opinion about you, but they don't want to hurt you. So they say it in a language that you don't understand. For example, you have a girlfriend and she's bringing, and she's my girlfriend. Let's say I have a girlfriend. She's gorgeous, by the way. Thanks for asking. And I have a gorgeous girlfriend, right? Girlfriend. And I bring it to my parents, right? Especially my father. And my father doesn't speak in French. He's gonna talk shit about her in French. He's not trying to be a dick to her. It's just that's his nature, and it's like, okay, well, she doesn't understand me, so let's fucking get her. You know, which is it correct? Is it something that you should do? Should you be allowed to do whatever the fuck you want? Sure. You know, and to me that was beautiful because it's like you don't know that I understand. All I had to say, the test would have been, I understand what you mean, and then see this again, you know. So I was trying to lose weight, and I had it was crazy. It was really nice though. It was really nice. The boys, they said, "Oh, you're losing a lot of weight." George was so George is complicated. George was a bodybuilder in Romania. Well, he did some bodybuilding competition, and then he came here. He had the kids, but he got injured. So when I started lifting weight, he was like, "Yo, let's do this exercise and do this and do this and do this." And he was always asking me about my PR and if I improved the weight I had. I'm working out at home, bro. There's not a lot of weights. But then he would like, "Oh, did you do it? What set did you do? Did you try these exercise?" And he was kind of living vicariously towards me, kind of living in like a way of, I cannot work out because I'm older, but you can, so I'll make you work out, and I'll kind of imagine this myself. Like, for example, and this is crazy, so Nico Caddo, which is a YouTuber, I don't need to tell you who Nico Caddo is. See, this the craziest thing? We're 20 minutes in, and the sun is not up. I woke up because I wanted to go to the place, and because I wanted to go to the place, I was hoping to get some, you know, but then I have to wait. So every single Friday I would do a cheat day, and I would go out, and that was the craziest thing. I would go to Walmart, buy 2 liters of soda and 1 bag of chips. That was my party. And yeah. At that time, I had a good life. You know, I was working well. I was making money, and over fists. And I was like, holy shit, dude. I had one weekend, and I don't know why I didn't go to Lachine. Right? Well, if you look at the Kageki Lachine, it's pretty sad. There's no like restoration area. There used to be one, but they replaced it for a Loto Quebec, which is a governmental gambling den. I can get in for slander for that, we're saying that's a government gambling den, but it's a gambling den and it's operated by the government. See, Lower-Quebec is what? Lower-Quebec is very special. Where's the moon? Where's the moon? Where's the beach? I don't know. The government, what they would do is they said, well, guess what? The gambling has got out of control. We don't have control over this. This is not normal. We want to fix things. So their way of fixing things was to create their own gambling thing. Only in Quebec. And then let me ask you something. Is there a lottery system in USA? Yes. It's gambling. It's the same place in every single country, you know. Well, as far as I know. I don't know. Maybe. So, yeah. And it's plain. And I was feeling lonely. Because and when I would go there, I was feeling lonely, right? Because I was depressed. So the first thing I did when I would get depressed, I kicked my mother out. I kicked her out of my life because my mom was a really good person, but she's insistent. I don't like insistent people. I don't like because, for example, right? If I say no, it's no. You don't have to insist. If I say I don't want to talk about something, I don't want to talk about it. You know, even though you insist, you're an asshole because you insisted. You know, so I don't like insistent people. My mom, she didn't know nothing wrong. She was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I would tell her yes because I'd rather say yes than no because she would be worried if I say no, right? And I was like, and she was like, "Oh, are you really okay? Are you lying to me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm lying to you, but you're not supposed to ask." And then she would call me almost every day to say, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" You know, and she was worried, which is normal. So out of my life. The second thing was my father. My father, I was unstable, and he asked me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a landing. So how do I know? There you go. There you go. No. You don't see the moon, but it's really close. And you don't see the sun, but it's really close, and you see the moon. I don't think I'm going to be able to get... The plan was to get them and both. Okay, so the truth, I was waking up. I wasn't thinking straight. My plan was to get the sun here. Little Quench, a sponsor, not a sponsor. Could be a sponsor, but not a sponsor. Different, but the same, but still the same. Skylar, I don't know, I remember his name is interview. The moon and the sun. And then I would have a nice picture with the both of them. I think this was folly. A folly of the wise. Jim Leahy. It is ignorance is bliss when it's folly to be wise. Ignorance is bliss when it is folly to be wise. Incredible. But yes, that's what the parking lot meant to me. A place of anonymity, place of... Oh yeah, I was saying, my daddy was asking me to be stable. And he was like, "Why are you complaining?" My father was like, "This is not the one that you're not feeling well, you know?" And then he changed. I had another depression and he was understanding, but the first one is like, what are you on about? Stop being emotional, like, be a man. You know? And then I know the reason as to why. Because when I made content, and he was getting mad about it. He said, "We're gonna have to talk about this, about you making content." It's like, talking about what? He said, "Well, I think that you make too much content." I said, "Did you know?" And I told him, "Did you know that if it wasn't for the content, I would have committed suicide?" Yeah, I would have. The content saved me. And then he's okay with filming content. It's like, "Oh, you want to go some places to film content?" I'm like, "Actually, yeah." And no, I didn't ask, but you know, the offer was still there. So I kicked him out of my life also. And it was bad. It was bad. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. So then, what happened is I didn't have anybody to talk to. I had a couple of friends, but those friends were... It was complex. I had a couple of friends, but those were friends... I had two friends actually. Valérie and Céline. Yeah. They were both people I met on Badoo. So when you go on Badoo, you're trying to fuck. So we could talk about emotion. With when did I wanted to fuck? Because imagine that you cannot get fucked because you have emotion. That's on you, dude. That's on you, you know? So yes, there was a problem. Um, so going to the parking lot, and it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Because it was just a time where it was insane. It was insane. Um, I haven't went to the parking lot. I went in 2024, which was last year. But the last time that I went was before the pandemic. So during the pandemic, I got Wi-Fi. So the need for go there was lesser. Which was 2020. I haven't went there in 4 years. And then in 2024, which was last year, we're making so much content. We were making content over every here. You want content, you get content. You get a lot of content. You get content after content after content after content after content. And when you're done with that content, you get more content. You know what I mean? So yeah. And I went to forget the content. And at night I was doing night stroll. And with night stroll, I was like, where should I go? You don't really see like a nice nature corner like this. And I went to the parking lot, and I was like, I haven't been there in a while. And the feeling of comfort, the feeling of familiarity in a parking lot, it's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. And this is nuts because I have a lot of good time on the parking lot. My first kiss was a NW parking lot where I used to work. I was celebrating my first like heroic action was in the parking lot. My boys was sick, and they were puking, and people were taking pictures of not even people, his friend were taking pictures of him, and I went in front of the camera. I was like, you're not gonna take a picture of my boy, fuck that. And the worst thing is, he was drunk as fuck. I had to pick him up, and I have to put him to bed, right, and take off his socks, and to me was extremely gay. But then you take care of your boys when he's sick. That's normal, you know. It's like, I don't want to touch you, dude. Go to bed. No, you're drunk, so I'm gonna take off your socks, and you know, I'm gonna put the cover on you and give you a kiss on the forehead. Good night. And then you wonder why I thought it was gay. Found it beautiful. Birds, beautiful. Yeah, the parking lot too. The parking lot for Gilles Lafritte. That night was awesome. That night was awesome because my boy, he was puking in the parking lot. And then the store manager was like, stop puking in my parking lot. I'm like, what am I supposed to do, dude? Go in the streets. It's just crazy. So then, so this place, and to me, it was comfort. And the most fucked up ways, this place was because, I don't actually see the moon anymore. This is actually the perfect time because at 6 o'clock, which is about at 6:30, in about an hour, it's gonna be too hot to film, which is gonna be a nightmare. So I thought we're doing it right now with Canon Perfect. We've been on for 24 minutes, about 52% of batteries. I woke up, it was at 70, so we have like an hour left, which is great. This parking lot, in a very weird way, was akin to a real person. And I know what you're saying, this is insane, but it's not. If a place can bring you this much joy, if a place can bring you this much fulfillment, right? The place can bring you this much fulfillment, then it solves everything. It solves every single problem. Do you know the worth of how was your day? You know? There's no amount of word for that, right? I had a thing with a girl about 2 months ago, and then she got a boyfriend. But the fact is, that was really something endearing, right? And then she got a boyfriend. I was like, what the fuck? What did you do? And I was like, no, you did something. You weren't a man enough to say, hey, I like you. Let's go out, you know? That's on you. That's your mistake. You know? Shit, my phone batteries is yeah, almost out. I'm gonna have to end this video soon. It was not the plan. I thought I had a lot of time for the batteries. I was like, oh man, put them in the garbage, but I didn't put trash. I did 3 times this. I did that 3 times lately. Put it in the garbage. Well, I can do it quick.